Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. I trust that you are well this glorious day. It is August 19th, 2022. It's already August 19th. It's already the middle of August. Wow. Wow. Thanksgiving soon, Christmas soon to follow. So, and it looks like we're going to make 2000. We're going to make it. We're going to survive 2022. Yeah. 2020 also. Looks like we're going to survive it. So I am thrilled about that. Trust that you are well this glorious morning. This is a Friday morning report, which is typically going to be a little shorter because of I have obligations in any case. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to play the breaks for our partners on the audio portion of the podcast after we get done. So there you go. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We reported a few days ago that Jeffrey Toobin, Toobin, who was caught Toobin on a Zoom call when he was with the New Yorker, and sort of got suspended for a little bit at CNN, but then is back on the air. Hopefully he's not on the air, Toobin. Has decided that he is going to resign and do something else and have a little bit more alone time. I don't know. I know, all inappropriate, but it is Friday. But CNN has gotten rid of Brian Stelter. Brian Stelter became the latest casualty of a programming reboot at CNN on Thursday when the network confirmed that it was canceling his Sunday show, Reliable Sources, and showing its host the door. The shakeup comes as a part of the attempt by a network and a parent company executives to move CNN away from its laughably biased coverage of the Trump administration from ego-fueled commentators and back towards more a news-focused program. This is going to be very interesting. And it isn't because the new owners at CNN are Trump supporters by any stretch of the imagination or about fair and balanced. It's about cash. They see their ratings get snooped by the likes of MSNBC and of course Fox News, and it's about ratings, and it's about ratings and what you can charge. Ratings equal to what you can charge for advertising. It's about cash. It's about money. It's about cheddar. It's about the long green here. That's what it's about. CNN chief Chris Light informed Stelter of the decision yesterday. Light has been making cuts through the network since taking the helm as part of the Warner Brothers Discovery takeover of the old-time Warner Company. Stelter, who often touted the show's ratings on Twitter, was among those CNN hosts targeted for frequent criticisms from conservatives for his coverage in the media in the Trump years. The corporate spokesman confirmed the show's demise and said the network wishes Stelter well in his future endeavors. In the words of Donald Trump, you're fired. The network said that its confirmation that CNN will end its Reliable Sources program on this Sunday, in 2 days. As a result, Brian Stelter will leave the company and indulge. And this is a bummer. And in addition to Stelter, the staff at Reliable Sources, the writers, all the people who are on that staff that don't do anything else, they're out too. They were laid off too. Stelter told NPR in a statement that it was a rare privilege to lead a weekly show focused on the press at the time when it's never been more consequential. Clearly not willing to give up any of his self-aggrandizing. I did great. Look at me. I am so important to me. Sort of like Liz Cheney comparing herself to Abraham Lincoln. Anyway, the soon former host tweeted the link to NPR's coverage, and we shared a video for March looking back at the first episode of Reliable Sources, but has only commented that he picked a bad day not to have his cell phone charged up. Stelter's demise at CNN was preceded, of course, I told you, by CNN legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin announcement last week that he would not be returning to CNN following a vacation. There had been speculation he too would was told to beat it by CNN executives who are trying to clean house. They are trying to put themselves in a position to earn money. They read the writing on the wall. There are people who are looking for sources of information that is not 24/7 Trump. They put the previous administration, my opinion, this is the opinion of me, basically put all their eggs in the "we hate Trump" basket. All of them. Didn't have anybody I didn't have to take one egg out and put it on the other side and said, "No, well, Trump's not such a bad guy. He's doing this. He's doing this. He, what about black unemployment? Black unemployment went to record lows. That's real. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about energy prices. That was real. No. Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia. And they stayed there and they would not move. And now they're off the climate change. Project Veritas said so. We saw it. People at CNN said so. They're going to be off the climate change. And if they're off the climate change, they don't need Trump 24/7. They need climate change 24/7. And that's where they're off to. All right. Because they have to, do something different. Speaking of doing something different, Governor Ron DeSantis, not Ron, basically the new law, has charged 20 people in the state of Florida for voter fraud. Governor Ron DeSantis announced that 20 people have been charged with voter fraud here in Florida and are in the process of being arrested. Most had voted illegally because they were previously convicted on murder or sexual assault charges. Now, when someone came to me, somebody came to me and said, it is probably something that we should look at on convicted felons getting all of their rights back at some point. And it makes sense that you shouldn't, just because you were convicted of a felony and even went to jail, that you should forever be banned from voting. That doesn't sit well with the conservative/libertarian side of me. Yes, you committed a crime and you were duly adjudicated by a jury of your peers. Sometimes that happens. When you were 18, and let's say you spent 10 years in prison. And that happened in 1960, and then you got out in 1970, let's say, and now it is 2022, and you still can't vote? Doesn't make any sense to me. You're 72 years old, and you still aren't allowed to vote in your country, and you haven't had as much as a parking ticket since then. You've lived like a nominal human being, a nominal citizen. That didn't seem quite right to me. Now, the way that happened in Florida, I think, went crazy because it was petitioned and then they had to make the law, which is the opposite way of things. I think other things ought to go. But the idea, for sure, appealed. But when you go backwards, then they had to say, if you were convicted of murder or some sexual assault charges, game over, no more voting. These folks voted illegally. In the case that they're going to be and there's going to be other grounds for other prosecutions in the future, and they are disqualified from voting because they were convicted of either murder or sexual assault and do not have the right to vote in Florida. They have been disenfranchised under the Florida law. Yes. So for those of you who say, what if they killed what if they killed somebody? Yeah, they're out. If you take another human life, then you're out. If you rape somebody, you're out. If you sexually assault a child, you're out. He noted how Amendment 4 had been passed to allow convicts without sexual assault and murder conviction to be able to vote again. But the 20 that DeSantis had arrested did not meet that criteria, therefore broke the law. That is against the law, and now they're going to pay the price for it. They will be charged. They will be charged today with election fraud. It's a third-degree felony in the state of Florida. They could face a $5,000 fine and 5 years in prison for illegally voting in our elections in Kansas. Now, let me give you a little background. When the allowing felons, this is why if someone approaches you in a parking lot and says, I need you to sign this petition to get this thing on the ballot, don't do it. It was on the ballot as a change to the Florida Constitution, and it passed because, like I said, it makes good sense. And then immediately, I think it probably in 2020, everybody was at supervisor elections office registering and voting. It was the Wild West. No one knew, because no one knew what was going on. Simply having that added to the or the approval of the voters to add that to the Florida Constitution did not write any of the laws or the particulars. Supervisors of elections were allowing everybody to vote. And I think this is how this is going to play out. My guess, and just my guess, most of these folks didn't have any earthly idea that they were committing voter fraud. They were told, because the particulars were written after the thing. I mean, the ballot initiative passed. You know what I'm saying? We didn't make any unconstitutional changes to the election procedures. We basically followed the law. The people, the voters, were better for it. The transparency was better. DeSantis says, adding that while the election went more smoothly and voters were more confident in results, there's still more work to be done. Additionally, DeSantis said that he directed all 67 supervisor elections to preserve records related to the 2020 elections. We made it very clear in the next legislative session after 2020 that this was going to be a priority. DeSantis said about the previous two elections. The Florida governor promised rigorously enforce the law and work endlessly to make sure that the most recent elections going back to 2020 would be preserved. Well, this is what happened, and a lot of folks, mostly Democrats, unfortunately, did everything they could do to find every felon that fell into their into their circle to get them registered to vote, because the particulars hadn't been written yet. So it's going to be interesting how this works out. Yes, technically, these folks who were convicted of murder or sexual assault, they should not vote. Now, if there is a positive benefit to this, the positive benefit is that everybody knows now that our governor is on the job making sure that the elections are as free and fair as humanly possible, and that we're going to uphold the law. And that's exciting. That is exciting. I'm going to, because this is in my home state, we're going to continue to cover this. All right, one more thing. There's an all girls school in Nashville, Tennessee, Harbeth Hall. It's a private all girls school in Nashville, Tennessee. Private girls all girls school in Nashville, Tennessee has backed off a policy that would have allowed boys who identify as girls to attend the school after pushback from the community. The all girls school announced that they would, quote, pause the adoption of a framework that will have allowed boys who identified as girls to be admitted to the school in a letter from the Board of Trustees that was obtained by Breitbart News. The letter references the early decision. We recognize that this philosophy elicited strong reactions of support and opposition beyond our expectations. How do you not know? It reads, we care deeply about your feedback and we have heard you. Based on the response from our school community, Harbeth is choosing to pause the adoption of the philosophy in order to engage a wider audience in this continued discussion. So are you serious? They really just want more people to get into this discussion. They want more people. No. They want people to forget about it. Letter also notes the board will follow up regarding the next steps as we engage our community and continue discussions about our all-girls mission at Harbeth Hall. As Breitbart News reported, Harbeth Hall originally told parents any student who identifies as a girl may apply to our school. Students who join and remain at Harbeth Hall do so because our mission as a school for girls resonates with them. Okay, there are a number of things for me here at work. We have been told forever that it was, especially at some of the, I'm old enough to remember some of the all-male universities had to, and even the military academies, the all-male military academies had to start letting women in because it was chauvinistic, misogynistic, and the like, to deny girls or women into these universities. It was chauvinist and misogynistic not to allow women into these country clubs and gyms and you name it. Anything that was an all-male environment. You didn't allow girls, you don't allow girls to play football or wrestle, or you don't allow girls to do this. You don't allow girls to do this, and you're denying them of an opportunity. And that is that energy. But all girls, now, single-sex schools work well. Because without, especially in middle school, I think all single-sex schools work great because you don't have that dynamic, that boy-girl dynamic that goes on in these schools. I think that works great. I think probably, and this is a misogynistic, chauvinistic thing to say, I think that you probably get more drama in girls' schools than you do in boys' schools. What do boys do when they get pissed at one another? You guessed it, they beat the crap out of one another. And if it's a good boys' school, somebody says, I know what we'll do, gentlemen. We'll go to the gym, we'll put on gloves, and we'll work this out. And what happens after boys beat the crap out of each other? Say it. Right. They usually become best friends. They usually become best friends. Girls hold grudges their whole lives. They're 80 years old. They're both in a nursing home, and they're still talking trash about each other. I don't know how they do it. Anyway, so for the most part, single-sex schools work. And what you don't hear about, you don't hear about boys wanted to go to boys, biological boys, wanted to go to all girl schools. But what you've heard about here is that this transgender foolishness. Now these people who identify as girls want to invade this private school, and this private school has pushed back. My guess is that some donor to this private school who writes a big check every year said, I don't think I can keep supporting this school if y'all let boys in here, especially them kind of boys. This is Tennessee, by the way. This is, what we're going to find out for. What we're going to find out later is that this is the truth. I mean, this school has been around for more than 155 years, making it a target. The controversial letter was followed by an article in local media by the school's head, Jess Hill, who defended the letter, claiming for more than 155 years, Harpeth Hall has been an all-girls school. This will not change. We are leading a national conversation on the place for girls in an evolving world. Now, do you think an all-boys school could be able to do the very same thing? They should be able to, shouldn't they? Because all-boys schools work. They do. It's a good idea. Not everything old is bad. Not everything new is good. My name is Willie Lawson. This is it's been the Morning Report. So listen, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sake, take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.